So what we'll do is we'll start with the shoulder straps. So you'll notice that the shoulder straps have strapping here, so the strap itself doesn't go directly to the top. It has this kind of webbing arrangement here, which is quite good. It gives a lot of flexibility in how they go on your shoulders. You've obviously got load lifters on both sides. You have loops here and here, I guess, for attaching certain things. You get two drinks pockets or drinks pouches on the strapping here and here. Now personally, I think they're a little bit short and they should be made, you know, just a little bit longer, because when the bottles are empty they tend to force the bottle up and they can fall out. I had an empty bottle fall out because of that. I would like to see a little bit longer in the drinks bottle there, maybe longer lower down so they can get down in there, and then you could pull the cinch across the top and hold it in place better. But it's good they're there nonetheless. Sternum strap, obviously there's no whistle, you don't get a whistle on this, but how often do we use a whistle? And we probably should have a whistle on us. Then there's two, obviously, you know, straps here which are used for lengthening and shortening the straps. These straps here, they go around the front, so we'll ignore those. At the back here you have one red loop for hanging it or carrying it there. You have metal rods that runs down inside and makes it quite flexible. It does flex with your back quite a bit. It is quite comfortable in that regard. What I don't like are these big pads here. You get obviously shoulder pads here and then a big pad, you know, down here. I find them, I'm getting more used to them, so they're less of a discomfort thing now, but I don't find them particularly comfortable. Can't really say why. They're just a bit bulging, they're a bit hard. I just don't like it very much. I'd rather they did something else that was a little bit softer. You could probably do something that was lighter weight than that, something that was softer on the back than that, but that still, you know, just keeps the pack away from things sticking in you. The same with this one down here. I find this probably goes down a little bit too low, to be honest. I almost think it would be better, you know, if it kind of went down here. I kind of find that it's dropping down my back and onto my backside a little bit more. Now it might be that the pack, this is a large, and I have a video which I will do, which will probably be out before this one, measuring your back. And I always find that I have a large back. So when Chris Townsend loaned me this one, this is Chris Townsend's pack. When he loaned me this one, he asked which size I wanted, and I said large, and it is large, and I think it's the right size for me. But I would have to say that it does ride down my back a little bit. I got to make sure that the straps here are very tight. I just think this goes down too far, and I think it's too padded as well. I prefer I'd prefer it less padded. It's like having some buttress on your lower back. It's weird. I like the pack overall. I think the pack is good overall, but I don't like this back system. You know, it's okay, but I think it needs tweaking. This obviously is the previous version. They have brought out a new version of the Flex Capacitor where I believe these side straps are hidden behind sewn material or something, which we'll come on to later on, which I don't like the idea of that. You get two very good webbing belts, you know, down the bottom. These fit me very well. I think they're comfortable. I think the strapping system on them, you know, is very good. I can cinch them up quite tight, so that's good. Can't really complain at that. You get a strap here for tightening something or other up. I think that pulls the side of the pack, so that pocket there, so that strap there pulls the pack around there. Although why you wouldn't want it like that, I don't know. Why not just stitch it there and save the weight of that? It's not much extra weight, but I don't really see the point of that, because you want it round there. You want it round there tight anyway, so you could do away with that, stitch that in. Same on this side. I've not even done this one up. Look, we didn't even know it. First time I've noticed these, but I would save the weight on those. The pockets are good. Thankfully you get two pockets. They haven't tried to be stupid and save weight by only having one hip pocket. They've sensibly put two pockets on, and they're good. They're a good size. They're a good size pocket. You can get, you know, a reasonable amount of bits in there. I like the pockets. I think that's good. The side pockets here, they're good. You could maybe do with them being a little bit longer, maybe a bit, but I have to say, I think they're fine. Thankfully, they've used their brain and not done an Osprey, stupid Osprey, that when the pack is fully loaded, you can still get stuff in there, which is absolutely critical. So they've done a good job, you know, with the side pockets. Like I said, I'd probably make them a little bit longer, but not much, because if you have them too long, some packs have them up here. Now that to me is too long, because when the pack is on your back, I like to be able to have my map in one of these pockets, and if the pack's in the right place, I can get my map out with my hand. And this is it's a pretty good pocket, to be honest. Like I said, maybe 1 centimetre longer, just so the stuff stays in there, and maybe a draw cord on it, just so you could tighten it up if necessary. They put draw cords on here to tighten these up. You could put them down here as well. Won't really add much weight. The weight you save on taking these silly things off here, which are superfluous, I think, you could use it there. You'd also save weight by redesigning these big, heavy, cumbersome, sticking in your back pads. Don't like those particularly. I'm getting more used to them, but I'm not a big fan of them. Going to the inside, you have this mesh pocket here. Now this is good, but Also, it's stitched up here and here. So if I go over to this camera here, so it's stitched up here and here. So you can get, you could fold it back and get something in it, but it would almost be better, I don't know, to have the Velcro at the top, or have it that the whole thing lifts up rather than stitched down the side. I don't know, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, to be honest. But obviously you could put a water bladder in there, down in there, and then you could put your water bladder hose out here. I don't use water bladders. I put water bottles in here, then I can fill up quickly and easily, plus I can see how much I have exactly, so I prefer those. You can, of course, as shown in a previous video on this pack, take this off and you could attach it to the front here and down there, and you could put something in it on the front and use it as a front pocket. Again, it's so narrow and it's really not that wide of an opening, pardon the expression, but the opening isn't very wide to get much down in there. You might get a small tap in there, I guess, but it's not the, I don't know, maybe it's okay, maybe I'm overthinking it a bit. I do like to have a pocket on the front. This of course doesn't have a pocket, but you can, because it's the 40 to 60, you can either have 1, 2, 3, 4 done up tight, and of course that gives you your 40 litre capacity, which is pretty good for, you know, a one-nighter in spring, autumn. If you're going out for a bit longer like I have on this trip, it was quite useful to be able to undo maybe the top two and have a little bit more room just to put a jacket or a jumper down in that, in that space that suddenly becomes available. So that's quite useful. I must admit that was quite good. What I tended to find myself doing was opening these up and putting my roll mat, my foam mat down in there, and then cinching it back up again. And normally I would be putting my shelter in a pocket here, but I can't do that because there is no pocket and that pouch clearly won't be big enough. So I found that I've had to put my shelters under these straps here. And I believe it's on the new model where these straps here, 1, 2, are sewn into the material. And I don't believe you can use them. So on the new version, I'd be screwed, I think, because I don't think I would be able to put my shelter and my other foam mat behind these straps here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, they seem to have a few new models out now. This is really the old model. I don't think you can get this one anymore. But from what I've seen, I think I'm glad that I've got this one, or that I'm borrowing this one. Can I hang on to it a bit longer, Chris? I mean, it's literally probably, after my MLD packs, it's probably the best pack that I've got. I've got some Osprey packs. Yes, the Osprey pack has a pouch in the front, but the Osprey pack, you don't get a drinks thing here, With the Osprey packs, you don't get a pocket on the side that works when it's fully loaded. When the pack is fully loaded, you cannot use the side pockets of the Ospreys that I've tried properly. I think that is poor. I think this is better than Osprey, personally. Like I said, it would be nice to have a front pocket, but then, you know, you can't have a front pocket because of the, you know, the design of it. So I don't know how you overcome that. But I have at least been able to put my shelters under these straps. And these straps are pretty generous. You know, you can undo them quite a lot. And you can get, you know, I've been able to get quite a bit under these. You obviously get ice axe and ice stuff and things like that. But I guess you could also use it just to hold trekking poles in place or something like that. And then these loops down here and up here are for attaching that internal pouch that I showed you earlier on. So you could, you know, take this off and attach that to the front, but I don't really see the point of it, really. You could almost just not have that. The way the front is designed, you know, like I said, I tend to put my foam mats under these straps here, foam mat under here, because I tend to take extra foam mats, and then obviously my shelter goes under that side. And what I have found is I can get my shelter under there, but I can still access just about the side pockets, which is also good, which is why I prefer to have everything strapped or in the front, and then nothing's really on the side getting in the way of accessing maps and such. But it's not really been too much of a problem. So like I said, if you can overlook on the new model the straps being hidden, which I can't, I think that sounds ridiculous, but like I said, whatever. Obviously it's a zip top. You also get a hood, you know, you also get a top. You also get a top pocket where you can put a few bits in. I think they could actually make the top pocket a little bit baggier, so you could get a little bit more in there. You can get a reasonable amount in there, but I did notice it does go inwards this way. So you can see that there, it's, try to show you on this camera, you know, so it kind of goes inwards. Whereas it would be better if this was flat, so it's not going in, and that when you put stuff on the top it comes up a little bit. I think that would be better. The reason why I say that, I have a reason, of course. When you've loaded your pack up and you've got everything to the top, yeah, you can undo the straps and all that, of course, but when you've got everything full to the very, very top and you then do it up, you're kind of having to push it down a little bit. And when you're doing that, you're losing space inside, because obviously they're thinking that you can utilize this space here inside the pack. But if your pack's full, you can't. So I would make that flat and then have this, you know, ride up a little bit, not much. You could probably just do some stitching business here on the top here, and just make it puff out a bit on the top. It doesn't have to be very much. Another thing I've noticed, and it's a very minor thing to be honest, but the material around there, like the zip protecting material, it doesn't go over the zip. It's not really very well designed, or not really very well built on this one. I found that when it's zipped up, it tends to ride up, but there I've got it over the zip, so maybe I'm being, but then when you try and do the zip up, it's catching is catching the zip there. So you kind of got to pull it away from the zip to get it to do up around the zip, and then when it's done up, it doesn't, well, I suppose it does, but you're having to fiddle a bit to get it back down again. So I'm being a bit nitpicky there, I guess, but that's a little bit of a faffy thing going on there. It's not fully loaded, obviously, but it goes on well. Like I said, you know, I find that I can attach my GPS, you know, to these straps here. The belt does up okay. So there you can see that it's obviously not fully loaded, but it's on my hips there. Like I said, this one, I have loosened this off. There, when you do it like that, it's resting on the hip. I mean, it's almost too long, but I'd rather have a pack a little bit on the longer side and adjust it than too short, because when they're too short, they just ride up. And then of course you can just, I prefer my receiving strap, the female attachment here, rather than being loose, actually being attached to the strap, because when it's like this, you need two hands to do it up, but when it's actually attached to the shoulder strap, you can just snap it straight in very easily. So that's just another slight nitpick thing. The hip pockets are good. You can access them pretty well. You could almost just have the zip going across the top. I don't really think you need to have it coming down the side. I don't think that's really necessary. And just, well, you'd be better off having the zip going all the way to the back there, and just having a wide opening. If you pardon the expression, as the actress said to the bishop. Maybe they did it like that. Maybe they think it's easier to open and close like that. Maybe. I mean, it does work okay. You know, it does work okay like that for the most part. You know, and if it was right at the back, maybe it wouldn't do up quite so easily. So, you know, maybe there is some reason behind that. It does up okay. I think it's a pretty decent pack, to be honest. And like I said, if I need to carry, you know, a little bit more, and I can't get that into my MLD packs, this is pretty decent. You know, I've been quite happy to bring this, you know, when I've wanted to carry, you know, a little bit more. So yeah, check out, I haven't got any affiliation. Check out the Sierra Designs Flex Capacitor.
It weighs 1.2 kilograms, which is pretty reasonable for a pack like this. They could probably make it a teeny weeny bit lighter if they made a couple of design tweaks here and there, but 1.2 kilograms is not too bad.
But that, I have to say, I think overall, I think it's a pretty decent pack, and it's good. These straps are on the outside, because without the front pocket, I'm a bit screwed, pardon the French. But these straps do make up for that. And any other bits that I might put on the outside, I can, well, not really put in the top because there's not enough room, but squeeze inside if necessary. So that's my rundown of the previous version. Sierra Designs, are you brave enough to give me one or two of your newer packs to critique. So that's my rundown of the previous version. A big thank you to Chris Townsend. Check out his blog and his books and what have you. Yeah, so thanks to Chris for the loan of this pack. Having to borrow stuff from, having to borrow things from friends. So that's this pack. Thank you very much for watching. Right, what happened here? Low battery, 3%.